We're back with another Bookstr News Roundup, and I'm your host, Sarah McCoy. This is where we bring to you the week's most interesting bookish news. So, let's get started. As expected, we have more news around resistance against books and the overall freedom to read. Who knew reading a book about acceptance to your gifted 5th grade class could put an end to your 10-year career? Elementary school teacher Katie Rendarrell is facing termination after reading children's book My Shadow is Purple to her class in Cobb County, Georgia. The book, purchased at a Scholastic book fair, promotes acceptance by embracing diverse identities and experiences. When asked to self-reflect through a shadow poem, here's what Rendarrell's students wrote. My shadow is white, an underestimated thing, one wrote. Another said, when mixed with colors, it can do amazing things, but left by itself, it's kind of bland. Another student wrote, my shadow is purple, and now I do know that everyone's different and not to be woe when my heart glows and tells me to see it's fine to be me. Isn't that beautiful? Not just students, but parents responded positively as well. I feel that these types of conversations are necessary to have, and the end result would hopefully lead to less cases of bullying in our schools, from an email sent by one parent. And despite this, Rendarrell was still asked to resign or she'd be terminated for violating the district's policies. She's the first known teacher fired under Georgia's censorship laws passed in 2022, but advocates anticipate more terminations. Good thing is, Rendarrell is not backing down. The teacher is fighting against her unjust dismissal with the support of her union and a law firm. Power to you, dear teacher. You know what's great? The fight against books and intellectual freedom is finally facing a tough fight. Penguins are adorable, but only if they're heterosexual, according to some people. Popular children's book In Tango Makes Three is a true story about 2 male penguins in New York City's Central Park Zoo who formed a bond and became parents to an adopted penguin chick thanks to the sweetheart of a zookeeper. While this story would melt many hearts, the Board of Lake County Schools decided to restrict access to the children's book for students kindergarten to 3rd grade on grounds of violation of HB 1557, the Parental Rights in Education Act. Yep, that's the infamous Don't Say Gay Act. Guess what? The school's being sued. By who? Not just the author Peter Parnell, but also by a group of parents representing their children. According to the lawsuit, it restricted students below the 4th grade from reading Tango because of HB 1557, as well as content and viewpoint expressed in the book. It cited no legitimate pedagogical reason for its decision, nor could it. Tango was a library book, not part of the school curriculum. The book is factually accurate, non-vulgar, and not obscene. Tango has previously stood on school library shelves, and Tango was restricted for illegitimate, narrowly partisan, and political reasons. May sweet justice be served. Canada is yet to experience the book banning trend that's been happening in the U.S., however, hasn't totally avoided the minefield that books have become around diversity and inclusion. In a library in Yukon, a transphobic book, Irreversible Damage, The Transgender Craze Seducing Our Daughters, by American author Abigail Schreier, was made a staff pick. The book has courted controversy with wildly inflammatory claims about the, quote, transgender craze. In an ironic twist, the library has kept the book, citing the Canadian Federation of Libraries' statement on intellectual freedoms. It goes to show that book protection and book banning can land on both sides of the issue. And ultimately, at least in Canada, all points of view are protected. In a surprising move, Drake has ventured into the literary world with the release of his poetry book, Titles Ruin Everything, A Stream of Consciousness. As author, the rapper opted for his real name, Aubrey Graham, and announced the book as well as an accompanying musical project on Instagram, as he expressed his excitement and urged fans to support his literary debut. The book was written by longtime Drake collaborator Kenza Samir, who the rapper credited on his 2015 mixtape, If You're Reading This It's Too Late, and his 2018 album Scorpion. Drake also shared this message from one of his high school teachers, congratulating him, as a gesture to thank her for the continuous support and always believing in his talent. The paperback of Drake's book is available for purchase on various outlets, including his website, drakerelate.com, and fadeon.com, and is available for $19.55. In a story that has made the social media rounds, the Multnomah County Library in Oregon posted to their Twitter a note of regret from a patron who failed to return a book checked out in 1958. That book? 1984. The typed-out note accompanying the book expressed that he or she wanted to finally clear my conscience at the age of 86 with its return. The person, calling themselves WP, realized that this book should be put back into circulation, as they believe 1984 reflects much of what the world faces today. If you think 65 years is a long time, how about 97? In our newly coined book return segment, which isn't a real segment, but it's going to be for this week, a book checked out July 22nd, 1926 from the Queens Public Library in New York City was returned by mail with the note, "Long overdue book, sorry." The book was The Lonesome Trail by B.M. Bowers. a western which tells the age-old story of what happens when a group of cowhands leaves the ranch life for the big city. Senior librarian Pat Miller said readers and critics of the day really believed that this was written by a man because it seemed so true to the actual cowboy life. But BM stood for Bertha Muzzy, who was born in 1871. I think at the time she was the first writer of these pulp novel westerns as a female, Miller said. Bertha Muzzy, aka BM, had an amazing career, including 57 published novels, several of which were made into movies. As many female writers in the 1800s, she used a pen name to hide her gender. Thank goodness we've come a long way since then. In more beautiful news, we want to take you back to the days where lovers wrote each other love letters. Only this blast from the past inspired act of love is taking serenading your lover to a whole new level. So pause this video, go get your box of tissues because we're all about to cry. Author Byron Lane wanted to give fellow author and love of his life, Stephen Rowley, the ultimate proposal, buried in his debut novel. An excerpt from the acknowledgments on the last page of Lane's 2020 novel, A Star is Born, reads, "And thank you to Stephen Rowley, my morning light and my nighttime star, and all the magical blue skies in between. I have so much love for you. Thank you for reading endless drafts of this book, helping me live some whisper of what's in these pages, and lovingly building an exciting and crazy life with Tilda and me. I love us. I love you. Will you marry me?" Lane told Today.com in an interview that he wanted the proposal to be reflective of who they are and something his longtime boyfriend would not be able to top. I mean, how much mush is too much mush? And with that, what do you think about today's episode? We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. I'm your host, Sarah, and this has been Bookstr News. If you want to hear more from us, be sure to check out our website, and we'll see you next week.